Metro Real Producer. This is your publisher, Kristen Brindley, and I'm here with the wonderful Tina Casale. Thanks so much for being with us.
Hi, Kristen. Good to see you.
She is a partner spotlight for September, and she's been in the business for 30 years. I know it's hard to believe, 30 years right here, and one of the first women in the industry. So it's a pleasure and an honor to have her on our show today. So Tina, tell us. I mean, you could do anything. Why mortgages? And at the age of 23, tell us about that.
So mortgages was not a plan. Like a lot of other people in this industry, my dad was a broker, and I was going to college, and it was the era of refinances. Rates had dipped to 13%. And he was like, would you mind processing for me after school? Because you needed original verifications with one type of ink on it. It couldn't have two types of ink. And appraisals were taking 8 weeks, so by the time the file would be ready, it was outdated. So I started processing for my dad.
Wow.
And that is the beginning of 30 years as an originator.
Wow. So it's generational.
It is generational, yeah. My dad was my trainer, my mentee.
That's great. So can you tell us a little bit about residential mortgages and Sandy Spring Bank? Why them? I mean, you have a lot of experience. Why do you work with them?
So I chose Sandy Spring Bank not just because they're a community bank that's been around for 150 years and that they're the largest regional one now. It was because of the product choices. Most lenders have regular Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac products. We had portfolio stuff, and more importantly, we had a jumbo renovation program, a construction program that went up to $3 million. And my client base is finding homes in areas like the district, like Northern Virginia, and they're going, to get to the right neighborhood, the house isn't always in the condition I need. And a loan that only repairs up to $700,000 when I'm paying $1 million for the house doesn't quite cut it. So they're portfolio products, they're local underwriting and processing. I worked with the head underwriter at another shop, and she's actually the one who brought me over. So when you know the head underwriter, it's always a good thing.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, it usually is.
Well, can you take us step by step? What's it been like, your journey through mortgages to this point?
Well, when I started in Northern California, I'm actually a transplant. I came out here in 2000. You needed a real estate license to originate lending in California. This was before national licensing was required after the crash in 2008. So we actually did have licensing in California, and it was real estate licensing. So we took our continuing ed with our real estate agents. So that was one of the ways we got to know real estate agents, is when you're stuck in trading with them all day and they're suffering and you're suffering, you get to know each other. So started as an originator in Northern California. Love what I'm doing. Have always specialized in love the unique. A little bit more difficult transactions, the ones that people are like, oh no, that can't be done. I'm like, why can't that be done? There's got to be a way. My buyer's motivated. They've got the cash. Okay, so they don't fit perfectly in the guidelines. There's got to be a way around that. There's got to be a loophole. There's got to be a program that allows them to become a homeowner just because they don't fit the pattern. And that's what got me started.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You like to problem solve.
I do. I'm so odd. My managers are like, why do you like these difficult transactions? And I'm like, I don't consider them difficult. When there is, someone, like I said, it's all in the buyer's motivation. If I have a buyer that's like, I really, really want to buy a house and this is my situation, I'm like, okay, we can work around this. We can rebuild credit. We can, move debt around. We can find a working solution to your problem that fits guidelines.
That's great. Can you tell us how you get clients and how you have throughout your career?
I have always been a social person. I am not one, I will make phone calls, but I'm a one-on-one person. I want to get to know you as an agent. I want to get to know the type of client base that you're looking at, and does that match what I'm working with? I love to socialize with my realtors. I know a lot of people are like, after 5 or 10 or whatever hour they shut off, I'm done. I become friends with my realtors. It becomes a really intimate relationship. It's not just, I want business from you. The same with my clients. My clients that refer business become a little bit my family. When you're working with people for, generations. They send me their kids and their nieces and nephews, and so that just becomes how I like to do things.
That's great. You are very much a relationship type person.
Very much so. I'm lucky in my career that I've been doing this long enough where I can choose the people I want to work with, make sure it's a good fit, and that everybody's happy. And I found that that makes for a really good life.
I feel like that's a great tip for everybody. Work with people that you like.
Very much so.
Do you do any types of advertising or forms of advertising?
Well, I happen to love this little publication here, DC Real Producers. I was never much for advertising on Zillow or any of the cold calling sites, as I labeled them. I thought that this was a really great fit because it marketed to people in an industry, and obviously being the top producers, people that love what they're doing, because you can't become a top producer if you don't love this industry. If you're just kicking it out for the sake of kicking it out and you're not having fun, you're not loving it. So that's why this is such a perfect fit, and it is my main advertising.
That's great. It's very relationship based, and it makes sense for you. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
So what are the next big steps for you and for the industry? Like, what do you see over the next couple of years?
Okay, so we're definitely hitting a little interesting bubble in our industry here in the DMV. We're definitely seeing the buyers start to have a little bit more control in certain neighborhoods. Houses starting to sit on the market a little bit longer, especially if they're not priced well. But we're going to hit another cycle where rates were starting to climb up. They had hit almost 5, and then we had a couple of interesting international incidents that created a downward trend. And economists are saying the next 12 to 18 months we will continue to see this downward trend. So if the economists are right this time, then that means that real estate prices are going to settle down a little bit too, which
gives the buyers more of a
leg up, and hopefully a little more inventory will hit and make options a little more open too.
I think all of us want that.
Yes.
Like that's what do you feel has been a great habit or something that's really attributed to your success?
I wish I could say I had perfect habits. I've listened to some of your speakers that are like Koki, that's up at 4 a.m. and he's doing his exercise, and I'm like, I wish I was that. I'm not that organized. I'm also a night owl. I'm not that early morning person. So my clients will be like, you're texting and emailing me. Well, I won't text them actually in case they have kids. You're emailing me at like 2 in the morning, and I'm like, yeah, that's my 4 a.m. That's my quiet time when I am catching up with emails. My team is pretty much dealing with the stuff 9 to 5 and responding to things during the day. And when the phones finally get quiet at night is when I catch up and get to return a lot of questions and deal with, solutions to issues that might have come up on a file.
That's great. Everybody needs their quiet time to get things done.
Yes.
Can you tell us, for you personally, like, what do you see for yourself in the next couple of years? Like, what's your highest hope or you're trying to accomplish?
I have had this dream of mortgage teams being similar to real estate teams. It's a lot more challenging because in real estate I feel like it is a little easier to separate buyer's agents and seller's agents on a team, showing agents, open house agents. Where in the mortgage industry, there is that initial contact with the borrower where you have to iron everything out. That really isn't easy to assign to a team member. A lot of the administrative stuff we can. So my goal is to grow a team that, little mini-me, can see things the way I do, and that is a very instinctual thing. It's something that someone either gets or they don't get. Like in any industry, some people just struggle and will never understand what we're doing, and others just get it from the very beginning.
So finding that key hire, and
And I've got an assistant right now that I think is amazing, so I'm hoping Heather will be my dream team.
Good.
Yes.
Good for you. What is one inside tip you can give realtors to help in using your business or in lending?
Any lender.
Yeah.
So most of my realtors, because we have such a good, close relationship, are great communicators with me if something's going on in the transaction, especially after the home inspection. I've got one right now where I was preparing the final CD and the buyer came to me and she's like, well, the seller's supposed to be paying the transfer and recordation 100%. I said, no, that was your initial contract and then that got wiped out. And they're like, oh, no, that got amended after the home inspection. And I was like, oh, surprise to me, okay. We can fix that, not a problem. But those are the kind of things that just kind of keep us in the loop as they're occurring, because obviously the home inspection occurred in the first week of the transaction, and we're at the last week, and we still didn't know it. So,
like, oh.
Yeah, communicate, tell us what's going on, and life gets a lot smoother.
Yeah, you're really on it too. Like, yeah. Is there any like fun quotes or things that you live by that you would love to tell the audience?
I'm not a memorizing quotes person, but I am very much take the hate out of the world we're in right now. Be accepting, stop trying to rule other people's lives. Focus on your own life, your own happiness, and I think that'll just spread around and make everybody happy. I'm all about happiness.
Me too. I like that very much.
Life is too short.
True that. Well, you heard it here at DC Metro Real Producers. Thank you so much for your time today, Tina. We really appreciate it.
So great seeing you again.
Absolutely.
Bye, guys.